Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome back to the Hive. In this video, for another home tech gadget that's not so much about automation, but it's about energy and quality of life, we're going to be taking a look at my brand new mower and blower kit from Ego that just arrived last week. We'll talk about what's in the box, we'll take a look at some features of the mower and the blower, and we're going to do some tests. So while I roll the intro, take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I release new videos each week. And let's get started. Now, I have to say that before I became a homeowner, I wouldn't have ever thought I'd get excited about something so seemingly mundane as a lawnmower or leaf blower, but here we are. Now, I've been saving up for a while to buy a new battery electric lawnmower to further reduce our reliance on petrol around the house. We've already replaced one car with an electric car and we're looking to maybe replace the other one in the next 18 months or so. And we've got more than 5 kilowatts of solar panels on the roof to help offset the charging of the car and other electric appliances. In what is still a heavily coal-dominated electricity market here in Australia, it's not necessarily great to be powering stuff off the grid. But the solar does help to offset that carbon. And it also helps to reduce our power bills a little bit as well. Something we've not yet gotten around to electrifying is our gardening. Now, according to the United States EPA, one petrol lawnmower, except they call it a gas mower, produces 89 pounds of CO2 and 34 pounds of other pollutants per year. According to a Swedish study, using a mower for 1 hour has the same carbon footprint as a 100-mile car trip. That's around 160 kilometers. And according to one article that I read, it's estimated that more than 77 million liters of petrol are spilled every year when refilling lawnmowers. And that's more than the Exxon Valdez oil spill, which was just over 50 million liters. Now, it's fair to say that this is refined petrol versus crude oil, but there's still carbon that goes into the production of that refined petrol. So in short, the environmental impact of petrol gardening equipment shouldn't be ignored. Now, with battery electric gardening gear, there is the worry that it's going to be underpowered. And I was definitely worried about that when researching electric gardening tools. Now, that being said, I've recently had a report from my brother that he has no such worry with his new Ryobi 18-volt brushless lawnmower that takes the Ryobi 1 Plus batteries. And Ego, the brand that I went for, claimed to have petrol-like power using their 56-volt lithium-ion batteries. And after my initial tests, I agree with them. So I ordered my mower from Sydney Tools just after Christmas, but unfortunately there have been some supply constraints and it took around about 6 weeks to come in. Apparently even lawnmowers aren't exempt from the various global supply chain shortages lately, such as lithium batteries. Now, I ordered a kit with a blower, the LMLB 2135E-SP kit from Sydney Tools for $1,149. Okay, so as you can see, the box is enormous. It is 1,050 millimeters wide. It is 860 millimeters deep on this direction, and it is then 535 millimeters tall. So it's a pretty decent sized box. Now, obviously, because there's 2 items in here, it's not just the mower, it's also the blower. That explains some of the size here. So I'm going to cut open the tape Okay, and the first thing we have as we open the box, it's difficult to decide which end to start at, but let's start at this end where we have our charger. So this is the Power Plus Rapid Charger, and on the back we've got mounting holes to mount it to the wall and all the compliance information there. I will actually go and plug this in because I'm going to charge the battery. So in here next to where the charger was, we have another brown box, and inside here I'm guessing this is going to be the battery. So I will open that up, and yeah, so it shows us that it is the battery there. This is the 7.5 amp hour battery. It's 56 volts and it is a lithium ion. So I'll just flatten that box so that we can get rid of it and recycle it later. And we open up the bag. So 56 volt battery, 7.5 amp hour. Maximum 420 watt hours. There's a button here that shows us the current power state. This is why I'm going to plug it in for charge. It's a very chunky battery, and that is part of the reason why I chose this system. I've got some warning labels, and this is where it slots into either the mower or blower or into the charger. So the charger has a cooling fan on it to keep the battery cool as it charges, so I'm not going to run that while we're still filming in here. Let's see, which way do I start here? I'll start over this side because this is going to be the easiest to get to. If I pull out this is the blower body, and we've got a tube to go on the blower body. So if I snap that together like so. So for the blower body itself, you can see that it's got the air inlet here, which is good. And we've got a standard trigger here, and there's this turbo button on the top. We've also got a speed control across there as well. It is 900 cubic meters per hour up the right way. And there's a little tag on here that says 900 cubic meters per hour brushless motor, runs up to 150 minutes with a 5 amp hour battery. And the ARC 56 volt lithium powers all Ego tools. So I will take that little tag off. Now there's a clip on the side. I'm not sure what that's for. I'm guessing that's for a lanyard to hold the blower up. That looks like a little safety switch there. And I like this flat bottom here so that you can rest the blower on the ground and it'll sit quite happily on the ground on a flat surface. So then we have a frame here, and I'm going to assume that that is the frame for the catcher bag. So I'm going to and so once you get all the clips around the frame there, it's quite a sturdy bag. Feels pretty decent. Very last thing to get out of the box is the mower itself. So we've got the mower out of the box. I'm going to grab this lever here, and then we should be able to lift the handle up, and it snaps into place when it gets to one of the detents, and you can adjust that to different heights. So you've got high, medium and low. We have our battery compartment in there, so that's where our battery goes. On this side we have our height adjustment, so it's on level 1 at the moment. I pull this to the left, that's level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and level 7, so it goes up quite high. You can see our quick adjust lever for the handle angle there as well. Something else you might notice is that the handle is quite short at the moment. We can unclip these green clips here, and then we can extend the handle out, and then we push those clips back in to lock the handle in place. Now as I take these tags off, we see the controls a little bit more, and something a little bit interesting is this little key that was attached to one of these tags. So I'm not sure exactly what that's for just yet, but I will figure it out, and as soon as I know what it is, I will let you know. We've got our power button here, and now you can't actually start the mower. This lever here is to start the mower. You can't start the mower without pushing that button down, and then once you pull the dead man switch towards you, that power button locks in place. And we can take a look at the controls from the back here. So that's the power button that we spoke about and the dead man switch. You'll see that you've got this rotating arrangement here, and that's a rotary switch, and that adjusts the speed of the self-propulsion. And these buttons here, we push down on those buttons and that engages the self-propulsion. As I turn it back around, you'll see that there's also this LED on off there. You can press, there is a tactile button under there, and there's also some indicators over here that tell us about the status of the mower. But this LED on off button that's here, this mower features LED headlights, so we can mow at night if we wanted to. I don't know why we would want to, but we can. I'm just going to pop the battery in quickly. I know it doesn't have a lot of charge in it, but I'm going to pop the battery in so that we can listen to the unit. And I've just figured out what this little key is for. It's got these 2 prongs on the side. Inside the battery compartment, so we've got the battery in there, there's this socket here, and we should be able to plug that in like so, and then close the lid. And now if I press the button down and pull the handle, so it's fairly quiet. It's louder than I was expecting, but it's still reasonably quiet for the size of mower that it is. I'll pop the battery out. There's a green lever underneath the battery. We lift up on that and then pull the battery out. Now, one of the great features about this mower, and one of the other reasons why I was really happy to get this, you kind of saw it when it came out of the box, but after we fold everything up, we can then grab this handle at the front and we can store the mower vertically. So that'll go quite happily up against a wall here in the garage. Now, something else that's a little bit unique with the Ego range of mowers is this select cut multi-blade system. So you'll see that you've got these 2 blades here. Now both blades actually have a cutting edge on them, but this blade here, this one with the larger, fatter section here, this is, I believe, the high lift blade, which helps with bagging, and also you can get a side ejection port with these particular mowers. You might also be able to see on camera, I'm not sure if you can, there's a plug inside the ejection port at the moment. So if I and then lift the ejection flap, we can grab the plug, and then that will now allow grass to be captured in the catcher that we put together before. But if you are mulching, this is called the mulching plug. If you're just going to mulch, you can put that in there, and it will then mulch. You can also get what's called a side ejection port that goes in there and it holds this up and it will throw all of the grass clippings out the side here. Now there's some rating information here. It says that the noise dBA is 65 dBA. Most petrol mowers are rated around 80 to 85, I believe. Other information here like serial numbers and other compliance information. So that's a quick look around the mower itself. Now if I grab the blower, so again with the battery, it just slides on like so. And now we should just be able to pull the trigger. So it's a lot quieter than any of the petrol blowers that I've used. It's almost about the same volume as maybe a quiet vacuum cleaner. And again, similar to what we saw on the mower, there's so in the mower it was a bit more like so. There's a little green lever here and we pull that up to then eject the battery. The blower itself weighs 3.5 kilos if you install a 2.5 amp hour battery attached. So it will be a little bit heavier with the 7.5 amp hour battery that we got in the kit. The variable speed dial goes from 440 cubic meters per hour to 675 cubic meters per hour. And one downside that I've noticed is that it's only able to blow. It doesn't have a vacuum function like some of the petrol accessories that I've used in the past. So if you're after a blower that also sucks, this is not going to be the one that you're looking for. Now, some electric blowers have a speed control that seems to only act like a volume control instead of actually doing anything to move more air, but that is not the case with the Ego. And now the battery that we got in the kit weighs around 2.9 kilograms or 6.4 pounds. And it's worth mentioning that there's other accessories you can get for the Ego range of tools and batteries, including a battery holder that you can strap onto your back for use with their electric chainsaw and I think some of their electric brush cutters. And there's also a mains power inverter that you can put onto the battery to power small mains voltage appliances for, say, if you are on the road or maybe if you're camping. Now, the included rapid charger can take the included 7.5 amp hour battery from completely empty up to full in 60 minutes. And I did test that and it is an accurate claim. Because it's such a rapid charger, the charger is also fan cooled to help to prevent overheating of the battery or the charger itself. The mower as well comes with a high efficiency brushless motor that should run for around 50 minutes on the included 7.5 amp hour battery. And because it's electric, it's a lot quieter than petrol mower too. One of my favorite things about the Ego mower is the way that it folds up and then stands flat on the rear edge of the mower so that you can store it up against a wall in the garage. It really shows that the engineers and designers at Ego weren't just thinking about the functions during the usage of the tool, but also how well you live with it when it's not in use. And that also means that maintenance, like removing the blades to sharpen or replace them, is made far easier by not having to find an awkward way to balance your mower while you wrestle the retaining bolt out. Now, I have to say that this mower is absolute overkill for our place right now, but I wanted to make sure that I had a future-proof solution for if we move at any point, and also as my parents-in-law get older, I'd like to be able to help them out too. Now, it's worth mentioning that I actually mowed my lawn about 4 days before I got the call that my new mower was ready to collect. Isn't that always the way? So I didn't really need to mow my lawn again, but it is summer, so there was enough growth to do a quick test, and I was suitably impressed. For a better test though, my parents-in-law have been having some trouble with their petrol mower recently, and so I decided to load the mower and blower into the back of my car and help them out. Now, it was a hot 32-degree day and my in-laws live on a bit of a hill. So the speed adjustable self-propelled function was an absolute godsend for getting the mower back up the incline of the nature strip and also getting it up the driveway. Now, I did notice when using the self-propelled function that if you do bump into something while you've got that self-propelled motor engaged, the wheels kind of lock and you can't roll the mower backwards smoothly. Now, it is easy enough to get out of that by just rolling the mower forward a couple of inches, but if you're hard up against some garden edging or something else solid, you might need to lift the back wheels up a bit to move backwards and then push forward a bit to unlock the driven wheels. There were a couple of spots in the in-laws nature strip and their front lawn that were heavily thatched and the mower did bog down a bit. And I also stalled the mower when I first moved up onto the front lawn from the nature strip area because the catcher bag was overflowing back down the ejector chute and causing enough resistance on the blade for it to bog down and stall. Now, the process of emptying the catcher bag is actually a great example of why I wanted an electric mower. With any mower, the correct procedure and the safest procedure is to stop the mower completely and allow the blades to stop spinning before you then remove and empty the catcher bag. After you've reattached the catcher bag, then you've got to restart the mower. Now, with a petrol mower, that obviously means pulling the ripcord, and depending on the age and various other factors of the mower, the frustration of potentially trying to get the damn thing to start again. Now, with this and any other electric mower, starting it up is simply a case of holding the button down and pulling the lever to spin it up. Now, something I did notice with the Ego that it doesn't start too well if there's grass in the blades, and it recommends that you start it on a paved surface. And I believe that's the case with most petrol mowers as well, but you can actually just tilt the blades up off the grass and start up the mower. Now, the box claims premium petrol power, and I don't think that this is a misrepresentation of this mower at all. Now, look, it might struggle a bit if your grass is quite tall, but so long as you take your time and cut it in stages from the higher settings and then down to the lower settings, I really don't see that being a big issue. One problem I have is that it feels like the lowest setting might not be quite low enough for my liking, although I'm sure I'll adjust and get used to it. Now, using the blower is obviously equally as simple as the mower. After inserting the battery, it is a simple case of pulling the trigger, and that removes the, at least in my experience, 10 to 15 minutes of priming, choking, frantically pulling the ripcord and swearing, and then repeating that process whenever the petrol blower then stalls, which is inevitable. Now, I'm sure that many of you might be shouting at your screen right now that two-stroke and petrol garden tools don't have to be that difficult if they're appropriately maintained. And I agree with you, but that's kind of the point that I'm making here. Electric tools don't need me to spend hours maintaining them or repairing them to get them to work well. I can reasonably expect to be able to put a battery in, pull the trigger, and go. Now, I will say that I feel like this blower could benefit from a flat-tipped nozzle rather than just the round outlet, but it still works great, and it won't be an issue for cleaning up after mowing and whippersnipping for most users. The turbo mode button, which unleashes the full 900 cubic meters per hour of airflow, should dislodge most garden debris and even the wet leaves that have pasted themselves to your paving. It's got quite a kick when you engage the turbo mode, and the inlet design means that you can use the blower right or left-handed without sucking your shirt or pants into the inlet or burning your leg on the hot exhaust of a petrol blower. So that is my new Ego Mower and Blower Kit. There's definitely something to be said about not spending 15 minutes messing around trying to get a 2-stroke blower started, or throwing your back out trying to pull the ripcord on a petrol mower. Being able to just hold the button in and pull the lever to get the mower started is honestly the greatest feature about any electric garden tools. Another great thing about electric tools is how quiet they are. While the Ego is not quite as quiet as I'd anticipated, it's still nowhere near as loud as my old petrol mower or my 2-stroke blower, and you could still reasonably hold a conversation over the top of the sound of one of these mowers if it was being used near you, if that need arose. But, and possibly more relevant, my AirPods don't need to be turned up to 11 for me to hear my music while I mow. All in all, I'm very impressed with the Ego mower and blower, and I will seriously be considering replacing the Whippersnipper with an Ego so that I can use the same battery ecosystem, and I'm even thinking about getting the power inverter accessory too to test that out. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. That is all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in some way. Be sure to comment down below with home automation or energy saving ideas that you'd like to see me cover in future videos. Don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and those links are in the video description. If you like this video, feel free to hit the thumbs up button to give it a like, and if you're not already subscribed, now is the time to change that. And while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified when I release new videos each week. I've recently partnered with NordVPN, and there's an affiliate link for them in the video description as well. I chose to partner with NordVPN because they have the best infrastructure of any of the commercial VPN providers that I've seen, and they have a strict no logs policy with servers all over the planet. On top of that, they've got apps for just about every platform around, both desktop and mobile. So no matter what platform you're using, you can protect your sensitive personal information while you browse the web. So get a VPN today. And if you use my link below to sign up for NordVPN, that helps the channel out. Speaking of helping the channel out, if you're not looking for a VPN, you can click the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description down below, and any contributions you make through the Buy Me a Coffee link are put towards making more and better content for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.